Welcome back, everybody. What a week of torture it has been on the Coronet. I have been putting in some hours. It's been whipping my ass, but I'm trying to whip it. We are running out of time to get this thing done. What we have here, the Sweet Patina N1 coating. All right, so we got 4 of these guys we're gonna be using. Hopefully I don't use all 4 on the inside. And I think these are like the catalyst hardeners. So obviously half a can to 1 can. Makes pretty good sense. To send it with a gun. Typically I use like a bed liner in this scenario. They say this stuff works better and it has more sound deadening and rust prevention. So we're gonna give it a shot. I'm excited to try it. These products from the Sweet Patina have never let me down before. This is a new one for us. We got a bunch of new products we're gonna be trying on this car. This is one of them. I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'll tape it for you guys and we'll see what it comes out like. Hopefully it's the dopest dope. All right, so pretty much goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. Anytime you're spraying chemicals, especially in a confined space like inside of a car, you want to have proper protection. I'm not talking about Trojans. I got myself a disposable spray suit. This one has a hood on it, I think. Cheap, easy. It saves your skin, saves your clothes. Your wife will be happy when she does your laundry, like mine is. Obviously gloves, because you don't want the stuff on your hands. I got a good respirator. This is like a 24-hour use respirator. We use them for way longer than that. I don't know why, but we do. And then I got myself an extra pair of shoes. Just so when I'm crawling around, if I accidentally dribble on my shoe, it ain't gonna, ruin a good pair of shoes. So I'm gonna get changed. I'm gonna get this stuff prepped, and we're gonna get going. All right. First things first. Instructions. We don't need those where we're going. There it is, all sprayed. Man, that stuff is cool. I laid that stuff on twice as thick as I probably should have. It didn't run, didn't sag, didn't clump, didn't do anything. I love it. I'm sold. Like, send me more. Like, I am good with it because that stuff is going to be awesome. Out of everything I've ever sprayed inside of a car, that stuff has to be one of the best stuff I've ever used. Like, way better than any generic bed liner, any of that crap. Like, this stuff has a purpose and this is it, and I love it. All right, so my task for tonight and the next couple of nights is to install all the new electronics in the Coronet. I got vintage air, Holley, and the American Auto wire harness for the chassis. All components I'm pretty familiar with. Should go pretty easy, but also it's my first Dodge rewire in a long time and my first Hemi Holley conversion at all. the vintage era, it'll be a breeze. It's gonna go in, no problem. So let's get going. Let's get this stuff started. I'm super excited. Like I said, these are all good components. They all work well together. Lots of versatility and flexibility on all of it. And I'm really excited to tune the Hellcat on Holley. I haven't done one before. I think it's gonna be awesome. So I think I'm gonna start with the air conditioning box first, and that way I kind of know where everything else needs to lay out. All right, so here I have the box for the Coronet, the AC box, vintage air. They come with, this is a universal box, but they come with brackets specific to the vehicle, vent adapter specific to the vehicle, switch panel specific to the vehicle. But first things first, you gotta get this bad boy mounted. It's kind of awkward, kind of heavy to get going in there. But what I like to do is I like to bolt these brackets on, kind of get it up in the car. Sometimes I'll use wire, sometimes I'll use a jack stand, some wood, whatever it takes, you know, depending on the car. Get it kind of where I want it, mark some holes, drill them. I'll do nut certs on these bad boys, and once this is hung, I can start figuring out where the rest of the wiring stuff is gonna go. So I'm gonna get these brackets installed. These are my coolant hose adapters for the hot and cold water coming in. I'll put those on just so I know kind of the direction and how much room we got, and go from there. This is a partial kit. They do sell compressors and AC lines and brackets and all that, but since we have a Hellcat and we're gonna kind of do our stuff custom, I didn't buy that because it just would have been a waste of money. I would have just been throwing lines away or storing them for a project that we'll never probably ever get to. So I find it easier just to buy the basic necessities for inside the car, and everything underneath the hood we just run custom. I can tell that this bracket here has this hole and this hole. They're threaded, which means they probably want us to come through the firewall to bolt this up. That's typically how the vintage air stuff is. But I'm making a custom firewall panel to smooth the firewall. I don't have bolts and stuff there. Even though it is a crusty, rusty old car, I want the engine bay to look like it only has the motor and very little extra shit in there. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably actually end up drilling my own holes and nut inserting this into the cowl, or building an extra bracket and getting it into the cowl, or I'll weld a stud on the firewall and have nuts, you know, on this side. Just that way it keeps it as clean as we can. Already messing up here. I forgot to put my water hose lines on. They go through here, so. These do come vacuum sealed to keep contaminants out. So if you're ever pulling these caps off and you hear it hissing and stuff, don't worry about it. That's vacuum, not pressure, so nothing's gonna blow off and hurt nobody. Alrighty. Now we're getting somewhere. And that might come off one more time to drill all my holes and get it set up right, but I always tighten it all the way up so I know exactly how level everything's going to be once it's in the car. All right, I think now we're ready to move to the car. I'll set the camera up in the car and show you guys kind of how I do this. It may look like a monkey fucking a football at first, but once I get my rhythm down, it usually goes pretty well. All right, so I'm getting set up in the car. First thing to do on the instructions, I tell you, is to take this metal plate that's provided in the kit, put a bead of silicone around it, and put it over the fresh air duct. That way it keeps any of that hot air from outside the car blowing in, because there's no fresh air system on these aftermarket AC units. It's only recirculated air. So I got 4 sheet metal screws, this guy here, and a screw gun. So I'm gonna put this up real quick. All right, so I got me a Sharpie. I'll lift this bad boy up in here. Kind of where I want it. I'm just gonna line up here. Make a mark. got my ratchet. I got a couple big self tappers here. I'm gonna start these, and then we'll go from there. Get her hung up in there and see what we're looking like here. All right, so my aftermarket trans tunnel is a lot higher than the factory one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this at like a 45 and go up to the next level of metal. We'll have to do the same with the lower bracket, but it should be fairly easy to do. Let me get that done real quick and then I'll be right back. All right, so what I did, I put this small break in this piece here because up in here, the cowl panel goes like this here. That's where I'm supposed to mount it to, but then it does this here. So I'm gonna move it all up and secure it there. I'll have plenty of room for everything else. There's no problem doing that. Yeah, it's all easy stuff. And then what I did thinking ahead is moving this whole deal up. This was butt right against, this used to be straight. And this butting right against the cowl where it meets the firewall, it couldn't go up any further. So I put a break in it. And then I drilled a couple holes because what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these up into the cowl too. 4 mounting points. I won't have to worry about the firewall. That way when I make my panel on the front, we should be good to go. Hopefully this works. If not, it's no big deal to move it back, but it should work. So I'm going to put her brackets back on, put her bolts back in, get her back up there. Should be good. Oh man, what a week it has been on the Coronet. I have been busting my ass trying to get this thing ready for Moparty. I did all the cleaning, prepping. I sprayed the Sweet Patina N1 coating in there. We dynamated it. I did put all the interior in it. Did the headliner. Now I'm wiring it. I got about halfway done with the interior wiring. I am tired. All right, everybody, that is it for this week. Next week, we have some good stuff coming. We got a lot of more parts from Holley to put on this bad boy. We got some horsepower from Texas Speed. And we have until the 13th to have this thing tested, ready, and be on the road for Moparty.